Good morning.
You got problems with the chair.
Good morning. Happy October the 14th, 2022. Craig here for another episode of the Daily Craig Football Show. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you are still recovering from that Thursday night football game, I'm right there with you. Not that it went late into the night, but man, the football on Thursday night has been not great for the last couple weeks. And my team, the Colts, had a lot to do with that last week. We had a turnover-filled, crazy, terribly quarterback-played game last week, and this week I think the game was more entertaining. The Commanders pulled out the win at the end. Robinson with the game-winning run for a touchdown. Justin Fields is a heck of an athlete. He really is. He can run, avoid the pressure, avoid the sacks. He's right there in that kind of Lamar / Mahomes mold of being able to escape. Tough to bring down. But the dude's got to throw the ball. There are times where it is 3 steps and the guy has got a step on his cornerback and he's just holding it. He's very, very, very apprehensive to throw. I don't know if that's from last year to this year to not wanting to make a mistake. That's what Herb Street mentioned a few times, was he was just really focused on not messing up, I guess, which is fine. And you don't ever want a quarterback to think, okay, especially a young quarterback, I'm just going to throw it and hope somebody's there, the old F it and throw it deep play. That's not what you want them to be doing, but there were 3 or 4 plays where they paused the game when he had a chance to throw, and he had a window, and he had one-on-one coverage, and the receiver had a step. So he doesn't have the best receivers. He doesn't have the best line, but his escapability and his athleticism is going to keep the Bears in some games. Their line is just terrible. Montgomery's a heck of a runner, but man, they just I almost called them the old name. Washington team is very, very strong up front. They've got a great defensive line, so they were putting pressure on him all night. He got dinged up right before halftime, and you could tell the rest of the game he was hurting. But Justin Fields has got to throw that ball. He's got to do that 3-step bam, 5-step bam. And it's one of those things where you only need to run when you have to, I feel like. So he's 6'3", 227. What's Lamar? Lamar's 6'2", 230. So, I mean, they're about the same height, same feel, basically. It's Mahomes. 6'2". So they're all about the same size. Justin Fields just feels smaller for some reason. I don't know why that is. But anyway, their leading receiver coming into the game last night had 10 receptions. So they've got to be able to throw the ball more. I'm not a big fan of Eberflus. He was here as a defensive coordinator for the Colts. I did not really care for him then. But it sounds like he's kind of getting the team in the right direction. He's kind of forced them to go a direction where they're focusing on defense. They're going to run the ball and then make sure Justin Fields doesn't turn it over. And I think that with the thinking and what they're doing with that, they're almost going the opposite direction, but they're basically just not letting him be him. They're telling him, oh, if you get in trouble, go run, and that's fine. But it's almost too little too late. So a big win by the Commanders. They had to have that one. That's their second win of the year. Their division's too good. They were, they're already 3 games back. That would have put them 4 games back and officially out of it. So they at least kind of keep the hope that if somebody kind of starts to fail, and they got a lot of division games coming up. So we'll see what happens with both teams. Carson Wentz did not really go crazy. Carson Wentz, he actually had quite a few decent throws, especially in the fourth quarter. And that's the thing that's so frustrating with him. I'm just looking at the stats. The thing that's so frustrating with him is there's like 6 or 7 good, great throws. We're like, yes, this is it. And then he does some boneheaded backwards, throw it up with both ankles broken. Just like, what are we doing? But last night he played a really good game. He really did. He ran when he needed to, which was very kind of few and far between. Their defense won the game for him. And he made enough plays with that running game to get the win. His receivers are better than what they are kind of portraying right now. He's got some playmakers out there. So it's just the opportunity to get the ball into his hands so he can make good decisions. And that's where it's that ticking time bomb. What are we going to see? So last night, 2 for 11, third down for Washington. That's awful. 5 of 13 for Chicago. Bears had 69 plays and Washington only had 53. That's a really big difference. But 2 turnovers for Chicago. They were in the red zone and did not score in either possession early in the game. That came back and killed them. 7 penalties for Washington, 4 for Chicago. Rushing yards, 238 for Chicago. That is amazing. 238. Montgomery went for 67, Herbert 75, and then Fields 88. So they were running the ball really, really well. Robinson went for 60 with Washington. McLaren, 3 receptions, 41 yards. Pettis for Chicago had 4 receptions. Mooney had 7. Passing yards, Chicago had 154. Washington only had 86. 214 total yards by Washington. That is not very good, but it was enough to win the game. They got down there, kicked a field goal not early, but late in the first half, and then just basically hung on there at the end, got a late touchdown, and here we are. It was a terrible game. It was a boring game. It was like a train wreck. You just could not turn away from it. So that's it. Thursday Night Football is done for the week. Next week we got Saints and Cardinals, which hopefully will be a little bit better. There's probably going to be more points scored. Just looking forward to that game. I don't trust either one of those teams. So it's kind of going to be another train wreck situation of who makes the least mistakes, I guess. Ron Rivera last night got pissed off and left the podium while he was talking. He was saying that he was the one that made the Carson Wentz decision. He knew all about him, did all the due diligence, all the homework. Well, I like Ron Rivera a lot. I think he's a really, really good coach. But here's the deal. Coach Rivera, you're the one that last week when they asked what the problem is, you said quarterback. You didn't have to say that. You were open and honest, and I like that. I like when you're telling people, here's what we think. But if I say I've got a problem with the kicker, everybody's going to ask me about the kicker. Did you pick the kicker? Why have you cut the kicker? Why have you found another kicker? Why haven't you done all this stuff? Well, it's the same with quarterback. The quarterback's 4,000 levels above a kicker. So if you say the only thing holding us back is a quarterback, excuse me, a decent media member is going to say, wait a minute, talk about that a little bit more. Well, I didn't mean it. I wouldn't have had a conversation with them. I talked to the team. Well, why'd you say that? It was taken out of context. No, it wasn't. We all heard it. We all heard exactly what was said. So he has a problem with the quarterback. He put it out there trying to motivate Carson or motivate the team, and it totally backfired. So luckily last night they got the win. The pressure's off for a few days. Nobody's going to care about the Commanders until we get to next week. Excuse me. But today, there's going to be some bullets. There's going to be some heat thrown Coach Rivera's way because he said that about Carson. And then last night he played okay, but not great. And then he stormed off today. So there's going to be a lot of questions all day today because there's not much going on, especially until the baseball playoffs. This Friday morning, Coach Rivera is going to be and getting hammered all over social media and talk shows and all kinds of stuff like that. So anyway, it's the same thing here, but the Colts didn't really put wins out there until the end of the season. So anyway, since the Panthers have kind of cleaned house, coach, defensive coordinator, you name it, special teams coach, a lot of rumors out there about who could be traded. And first, at the top of that list is Christian McCaffrey. He's been hurt, missed 23 games in 2020 and 2021. November 1st is the trade deadline. Carolina, apparently from NFL.com, has not received any calls, but there are a ton of rumors going around down there that he is on the trading block. Who will call for him? This article says the Bills, the Chiefs, the Bucks, and the Eagles. Well, okay. Anybody can say that. Hey, look, the best team should go try to get one of the best players. But what about one of those teams in the middle that is kind of trying to figure out what they are, if they're going to go win a Super Bowl or not? The first one I think of, and they've already got 2 great running backs, but they're struggling a little bit on the receivers of the Packers. I think you put him in the slot, you really tell him he's a Darren Sproles type of person, and really just get creative with him and let him just go make plays, that would be interesting. It really would. The Rams, of course, the Rams love talent. They just cannot get enough playmakers out there, so that'd be a good one. 49ers, maybe. Get him out there with Debo and see what happens there. Who else is in contention? I mean, the Bengals. That'd be an interesting landing spot for him there. I'm not saying that these are teams that have to have him. I'm just saying that these are teams that would be interesting to add another weapon, right? They'd have to use him correctly. You can't sit back there with Christian McCaffrey and say you're playing every single game or every single snap. You can't. He's not durable enough. He's not healthy enough. He gets beat up and he gets hurt. So you need to use him in a smart, kind of clever way. The Eagles would be good. They're rolling. Their offense looks good. Jalen Hurts looks good. He's got Sanders, Gainwell, Scott. He's got playmakers. Brown, Smith. He's got those people. But you always want another weapon, right? Tampa would be interesting because everybody keeps getting hurt down there in Tampa. So what do you do there? The Saints would be interesting. But again, those two teams are not trading within their division. They're probably not even trading with the NFC if they are at all. So the Dolphins, could they think about that where the Dolphins get another playmaker? The Bills, obviously, the Bills are kind of the Rams 2.0. They're just collecting as much talent as they can. They've got a great quarterback. They are out there to score as many points and absolutely dominate you on defense. So that would be an interesting pickup for them if they could get them. The Jets are teetering. Are we going for playoffs or not? Would be an interesting little pickup there. The Browns are kind of all over the place. I think the Bengals, the Ravens would be interesting. Go down south, really the only team. I mean, my Colts need receivers like crazy, but we're not throwing any risks at all here. We're very, very conservative in everything that they do. So they're not trading draft capital for them. I don't think the Titans would. They're kind of not rebuilding, but they're on the verge. Go out west, Chiefs. I think the Chiefs would go all in on another playmaker, somebody quick, get out in space. The Chargers, they need to get healthy. The Raiders are kind of a mess, and the Broncos are a mess. So you really kind of look and see, okay, who realistically is going to get traded from Carolina? And number one is that, the most realistic is Christian McCaffrey. But again, I don't think that that's something that they want to part with, to be honest. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, especially now that they've not waved the white flag, but it's still early. I mean, we're a little bit past the fourth of the way in, and the Panthers are already like, screw it, this can't work. So we'll see what happens there. Everybody's talking about Wink Martindale, the re-energized defensive coordinator for New York. The Giants, they play the Ravens, going to be a huge challenge for him. Zach Wilson, they play the Packers. He said he grew up a fan of Rodgers, looking forward to playing each other. That will be exciting. Yesterday there was a lot of stuff about Daniel Snyder. The broadcast last night touched on it. Al Michaels, I think, is correct. I think the owners want him to sell. I don't think they want to do anything. I think they want him to just voluntarily sell, but he won't. He apparently has got dirt now on a lot of the owners kind of saying, come get me. So we'll see what happens there. It's going to be really, 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 really interesting as that moves forward. Excuse me. Justin Fields last night said he's tired of the Bears being almost there. I don't think they're even almost there. I think they're a long way. I think they're miles behind Green Bay and Minnesota. Excuse me. They're going to be battling Detroit for third place in that division. Deshaun Watson has another civil lawsuit. They're never going to stop. They're just not. Let's see here. What's this? Let's take a look at the news, see what's going on today here. Tom Brady maybe gets suspended because during one of the sacks, he kind of kicked the guy to get off there. So we're going to see what happens there. We're looking at the videotape 6 days later, which is kind of weird. But McVay said the Rams have not made their last offer to OBJ. We'll see what happens there. Devontae Adams is going to be charged for assault, pushing a media member after the game when he was all mad. He knew it was a mistake because as he went in and was talking to the media, he apologized about 3 times. He knew that was going to be a big fine and an issue going forward. So today, I mean, what are we talking about today? The crappy football from last night. We're talking about Justin Fields has got to throw the ball. He's got to throw the ball. He's got to throw the ball. Ron Rivera getting all pissed off the media about an issue that I think he started. And then we're also monitoring all the injuries, monitoring all the suspensions possible for the week. Will Tom Brady get suspended? Will Devontae Adams be suspended? We're looking at the trades from Carolina. Who else is possibly going to get traded? You start to look at those teams that are really, really bad and see what happens. So anyway, that's going to be it for us on a Friday. Hopefully you have a great day. Tonight is the last regular season for high school football. So get out and support your local high school football team. I know tomorrow is a huge day of college football. Tomorrow morning we'll break it down. Sunday morning we'll break down the NFL. And then we're continuing in all of our football coverage. So I thank you so much for joining me on the Daily Kirk Football Show. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Check this out. It's in its own playlist. So if you don't care about any other videos, you don't care about our daily vlog or our trips or food or anything like that, and you just care about the football aspect, make sure you just look at that playlist every single day, because hopefully my goal every day is to release a little show and kind of talk about what happened in the world of football. So thank you so much for joining me. Comment below. Let me know what you thought about last night's game. Let me know about the orange jerseys and helmets. I like the helmet. I think it would have been cool with a blue jersey, white pant, or blue jersey, blue pant. The orange and orange was just a lot. And if you're going to go all the way and get orange pants, let's turn everything into pumpkins out there. So it was a little interesting. You don't really see orange helmets that often. I was kind of thinking, okay, we see the Browns, obviously, and, Oklahoma State and Oregon State once in a while, but you really don't see orange as like a standard color for a helmet. So it was kind of cool, kind of interesting to see. So let me know what you thought about that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for being here. Make sure you please subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you later.